going on today, guys? So today is actually Tuesday. We are going to start putting Andrew's truck back together with all the powder coat stuff and get that fired up, get that back up and running. Previously to this, Sunday when we were at Johnny Sendit's house doing working on his truck, we actually came back and started working on Andrew's truck, so we kind of have half of it about done. So I'm going to show you those clips now that I recorded. Andrew is putting on his new exhaust housing of his Charger and his new downpipe, which is a stainless diesel downpipe, versus the old flange, which is a source flange. You can see there's a quite a bit of difference. So luckily, through all of the previous projects, we have a clamp that has a wider V-band surface for that. All right, so here's actually the final color of Andrew's powder coat. I'm not sure how well the camera is going to pick up the color. It's called Illusion Melbic. It's not really purple per se, but here's the rocker cover. When the sun hits it and it's got more light on it, it becomes a little more light, but that is the color he went with, the bars, all the engine parts and stuff. So against the black, get your pecker out of the way, Jesse. Oh. So with the bars and the black wheels and the white truck, when the sun hits it, it really should pop. Andrew's got his exhaust housing all bolted up and the downpipe clamped up. Now, the whole reason I like Source's downpipe, I wish they would use a nicer flange, kind of like what I just showed you. But you can see, I mean, the AC line, tweaking that a little bit is not that big of a deal. But when you see down, ooh, I'm on a ratchet. But you can see how close it is to the bell housing. It's only got a very little amount on that side. And then on the frame over here, you can look down there. Maybe I'll get underneath the truck and show you. Okay, you can kind of see right where that bend is, which doesn't really need to be there. It's so close to the frame. Come over here, it's really close to the bell housing. So that's why I prefer going with a Source downpipe over this. Bye, Jesse.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm cold.
Are you tired of being cold?
Uh-huh.
It's cold and windy.
Going to sit in the hot tub.
Is the hot tub still going?
Hell yeah. It's the best time to go in there is in the winter.
Oh, man. You going naked?
Yes. Sometimes my banana hammock.
All right, get that turd out of my driveway.
I could smell it.
You can smell it?
It's just an exhaust smell.
So maybe it's common sense, maybe it's not common sense, but when we assemble the turbo to the manifold, we always put the exhaust housing to the manifold first to get that extremely tightened down. It's easier to get to the bolts for that than rather trying to do it as a complete assembly. So once that's done, then we put the center section in and then the compressor housing last. Alright guys, excuse the wind again, just a quick shot. Here's where we are wrapping up progress on the truck today. So turbo's completely on, intake setup's completely on, and the hot pipe blow-off valve setup and the boots and the clamps are all back on. We still have to get intake gaskets and put that side of the motor back together, put the traction bars on, which we'll probably do this week sometime. And so where we're at now is we're just getting ready to put the bars back on, the rocker cover, and all of the driver side intake stuff. I also realized as well that I forgot to show you the stuff that I had powder coated for the 05. So the two clamps, gloss black, the adapter plate that went gloss black, and then also the old stack that I had. It actually was a different stack, but gloss black on all that, so when the bed goes back on, that it's basically all gloss black, going with the all blacked out theme again for this year. Alright, so the bars are all on. All we got to do is just tighten them up and then also tighten the jam nuts up once we preload the bars just ever so slightly to hold that axle back when it wants to rotate around when you're getting on it. Very hard to tell on camera, especially underneath the truck, to see the actual color. I'll show you guys the color when it's in direct sunlight so you can see what it looks like. So you can kind of see it here in the sunlight a little bit better. It's kind of hard to tell when it's in the dark.
So this would be sucking forwards. This is pulling forward.
Yeah, that's pulling forward.
Yeah, so this.
And then you want to see more.
So this is where it's loose.
Right, that's loose.
And what did we do? We did one turn.
Yeah, just not a lot. Just hand tight, just like that. And tighten that jam nut up. So when you're preloading those, like I mentioned before, the way the threads are on the bar, left, you know, pulls the bar one way, right pushes the bar the other way. Obviously you want the bar pushing against each other.
Oh, you guys following. Thank you, man. What's up, bro?
How you doing? Well, I haven't seen you in like 5 years.
Oh, man, you fell in love and that's it. Is this a turbo booster? Cleanliness is key, bitches. Hey, this is Andy here, and after 1 month of knowing a woman, he told her that he loves her. Guy's got problems. When you know, you know.
Seraphin trying to tell me I'm small. Obviously, he's out of focus.
Intake manifold is all set. Also, notice that when this is powder coated, some of the powder did run along this seam a little bit. So just took a little file, cleaned up all the edges here. Obviously, you don't want anything sticking down that might mess up the seal.
Videotape that with mom van of his.
Watch my grass! So one quick thing I do want to note in the middle of this time lapse here is these injector harness nuts. Very easy to break the top of the stud off of the injector. They do have a torque spec in like very small, you know, lower than what most torque wrenches are even going to go to if you don't even have inch pounds. I think it might even below inch pounds, I'm not sure. But you really just want to be almost just a tad more than finger tight. You really just want to, as soon as it stops, like there's a phrase for a little bit more than a blank hair, but just very, very less than snug. Alrighty guys, and here is the final engine bay product, minus a very good cleaning, but you can see looks kind of purplish. Once the sun hits it, it's got a whole different look to it. Can't really see much of that pipe down there, but the intake pipe, the grid heater delete looks good. Rocker cover looks great. Like I mentioned, it does need a good engine bay cleaning, some touch-up paint here or there, but really nice. You know, it just sets the engine bay off definitely quite a bit more. How's it coming down there, big dog?
Almost done. One more.
And then time to fire. For anybody wondering, Andrew did not want to put a stack in the bed, and when we did first do his truck, he did have a tip that came out in the normal spot, and being so white, obviously the whole entire back corner just was always constantly black from the haze with the bigger injectors. So we went to this style, and he doesn't really accumulate all that much soot on his back section of his truck now. So there's the reasoning. So one other thing I just want to point out to you guys, if you've never done head studs on a common rail, if you don't read the instructions, you'll see that this rocker cover actually comes right like this. And you can see that we've ground that down. Basically the head of the head stud comes interference, you can see that better. This whole section is usually filled in with solid material. You have to take a grinder and grind that out. And of course, Andrew just started his truck. Volkswagen diesel hot on his tail. I've literally been kneeling in the grass in front of my street. We're probably going on 20 minutes now waiting for Andrew to come back from his test drive. My phone hasn't rang, so I'm hoping he shows up here pretty soon. Not on that one. Did you race that TDI? It is. I thought you were racing them. All right, so what I was explaining to you before, you can kind of see where you have to grind out. On a common rail, if you're putting head studs in, this has to be ground out. And what'll happen if you don't is you'll go put this cover back on and you'll think that it's tightened down. You'll tighten it down, then you'll start shooting oil out of the back of the motor. That has to be ground down. It could be even ground down just a little bit more to make it flush with this right here. There's a kind of a close-up. But just so you know, just a tip, if you've never put studs in a common rail before, make sure you grind that piece out. So what we're doing now is, now that Andrew has his wheels black, there you go, you can see him in the background. Now that he has the black wheels on there, he wants to try and play with, see if black headlights look a little good, just other black accents that might help the truck look a little more complete. So I have black headlights that I'm gonna be putting on this, so we're gonna try and throw one on there to see what it looks like so you can kind of see the difference. I mean, super hard to tell with no light out, but and obviously you'd probably get the blacked out fog lights, right?
Yeah.
If you do them, I don't know. I think it looks pretty good.
Think it looks good black? With black inserts?
It's one of those things you could almost go either way. I don't know. I mean,
like, I think the chrome has to be changed, but I think those are just smoked enough to where they're not too gaudy. But
I mean, they're not that dark. I mean,
right?
They look a little dark in the camera, but I don't know. I think it ties it in a lot better.
Ties it in with the windows and everything.
Leave a comment below. What do you think? Let's vote on this. Good?
They're going black.
Andrew, do your famous.
Oh, skirt.
Skirt. Do a brightness test. See how. Yeah, look at, you can see in the camera how tinted it makes it. The one side's blind in the camera, the other side's not.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it cuts down on the
They could be adjusted wrong too, because that one's adjusted way high.
No, but I'm just saying you can visibly tell how much brighter that is, like hands down. I mean, it cuts down how bright those things are at least by half or quarter. Back in your home you go. And yet again, the shop is a complete disaster, but we are not going to worry about that tonight. Oh.
A lot?
And that's how much fuel we have to drain out of the tank. Why, is the battery dead in that thing?
I don't know, it's been cold and shit.
How dead is it? Is it like real dead?
Fire up.
Give her some more juice, boys. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. Wednesday night is a wrap. We might go inside, see what the wife's doing. Settle down. Easy, it's just a damn camera. What's going on in here, babe? Killing the wife game. But other than that, that's it. Andy's truck back up and running. Let's see, what else? We got to get started working on that thing. So you saw that. I'm going to start draining the fuel out of it. Start getting the new air dogs mounted up. I have to rerun all the lines, make new lines for the air dogs, the returns, all that other stuff. I'm gonna reroute some other wiring and stuff, so we're gonna get working on this thing eventually. The stuff's still at paint. He's gonna be a little while on that, and we're still waiting on the new wheels. All right, guys, little story time, and don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to be the most motivational person on YouTube at all whatsoever, but take it for what it's worth. Well, I was at Home Depot. The person that was checking me out, you could tell she was not having the greatest day. She's, you know, you get the usual, hi, how are you? You could tell she didn't really mean it. But I was nice, and I was like, I'm good, how are you? You know, I was a little bit positive, a little bit uplifting. I could tell she was having a bad day. I was in a particularly good mood. And my positivity, she was like, oh, thank you. You know, just positivity and being nice to people, even if you're in a bad mood. Being nice and being positive really spreads. Moral of the story is, yeah, just be nice and be positive. You never know what other people are going through and how your positivity and being nice might affect them, and maybe that'll go to the next person. So, I'm done with the motivational. That was it. I just thought it was worth sharing to you guys. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. If you are not already, please subscribe, hit that like button before you leave, and I will see you on tomorrow's video. See ya.